From Offside and Out of Bounds. I'm Adam. As always, I'm joined with Junior. Junior, are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, Junior, we got a full deck here today. Why don't you tell us about the beers that we're going to be looking at today?
Perfect. We've got Waterloo Grapefruit Radler and
Nice.
Forbidden Dry Artisanal Wicked Cider.
Oh.
So Forbidden's got 6.5% and the Waterloo's got 2.5%. We're going to start off with the Waterloo.
The lower seated there.
Seat. Yeah. We'll just do a nice quick here. Nice color.
Again with the grapefruit, Junior.
I don't know, man. I picked a bunch.
It seems like grapefruit and 2.5% alcohol go together just perfectly.
What's that about?
Unexpected from a Canadian brewer as well.
Yeah.
Right?
This smells like very grapefruit forward.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What's the first take?
It's pretty similar to the rest.
Okay.
You get a bit of the grapefruit, and that's a little hoppy. That's about it.
Okay. All right. We got a couple of bones to pick here with the first topic, which is Top Shot. We had got in early a little bit with some of these. We started collecting the packs. We didn't get any real showstoppers, but what's going on with the Top Shot now? Are you finding that this has now tailed off a little bit? For me personally, I'm getting these emails, and it's like you need a certain amount of points or rating, whatever they classify that as, in order to buy some of these higher tier, especially the playoff packs.
Yeah, I think what happened is they tried to open it up so people wouldn't lose interest in it by offering, reserve your pack. We're going to put 2 or 3 drops this week and just try to get a lot of people on it.
Yeah.
But then when you start realizing that, you're only spending $9 sometimes, $14 sometimes, but most of the times you're really not pulling heat, right? Like you're not. It's not to be expected, but I mean, in card collecting, you can buy a $5 pack and pull a $10 million card
easily. Yep.
That's what it's got to be about. But it doesn't seem like that's what it's about. You want the rarer cards with the different things that are going on with them, and then when you get into a drop where you're going to get cards that could make you money, they're not allowing you to join in unless you've spent a certain amount of money with them to collect these collector points. And I find that's kind of BS. To be honest with you, if you want to make a product for everyone, then it's got to be available to everyone. And to be honest with you, I've probably missed out on the last 10, 15 drops. I'm just kind of done with it.
Yeah, same. Look, what I don't like about this is that there's an unlimited supply, right? There really is an unlimited supply. Like there could be numbered, they could be, sure, the Top Shot at the moment could be numbered 1 through 9,000. The problem is they have 15 or 20 or 30 of those exact same pass. Like how many great passes does LaMelo Ball have in a regular season? I mean, you can make probably 100 Top Shots just on him passing. Mm-hmm. So it loses that luster. And you brought up the idea about the pack and the fact that you can pull any card, refractor cards, whatever the card might be, out of any single pack. I would like to see them next year make an adjustment if they expect this to continue. Make an adjustment, make a legit series. I don't really like this playoff series stuff. You just have whatever amount of cards that are in that base set plus whatever amount of cards that are in that. You sell X amount of packs, and that's that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a better idea. I mean, when you look at Topps, Topps has been running the card game until Panini kind of came along. But what they do is there's one brand. It's either Panini or it's Topps. But they have their lines. So in baseball, you've got Heritage, you've got Gallery, you've got, Black Diamond. You've got like 50 different types of offerings. And the exclusivity of those cards obviously get different with those sets. But you can still go in and buy a box of Heritage and still pull a card with an auto on it or a refractor or whatever it is, crushed ice. Like you're gonna get good cards in the lower end kind of offerings that are there.
Yeah.
And you have to keep people interested in your product. But if you're making your product unavailable to people are gonna lose interest big time. In the beginning we were like, yeah, get on it. Let's get this one.
You saw the prices, $250,000 for a LeBron moment.
Yeah,
all this
the
stuff,
hype was there, but there's no delivery on the hype. And that's where it kind of gets to, it gets tough because you're trying to emulate actual cards, like
Yeah.
tangible items that you can hold in your hand. And you can't hold these moments. And you own the moment, but you own a piece of the moment. And you can't really sell that off for rights where you can print T-shirts or something of a clip of the moment. It's not that kind of ownership. So, I still think it's a great idea to kind of get people into a new type of collecting. But still, for me, I want to rip a pack. I want to feel that I want that. So
coming soon on cutouts. Check them out.
We got some heat coming.
We do. We've been stockpiling some packs, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's move along here. Billie Eilish, she's been able to. I mean, she's got a pretty good collection. She's definitely a shoe connoisseur.
A pretty good collection.
It's pretty great.
Billie has shoe game that I have not seen from a lot of people. She's like, her shoe game is fire. She's
got some gear for sure. Yeah, she's got some gear. So she's been able to put together a collab with Jordan Brand and Nike. So this is a pretty great step for her. We've seen the success of what Travis Scott has done when he's mashed up with Nike and Jordan, and ultimately as well, probably the biggest name, the biggest mashup in probably shoe history. Yeezy and Nike, but really Yeezy and Adidas, which has just garnered so much attention over the years. What do you think about this collab? And then we'll reveal the shoe in a moment.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of tired of that Travis Scott stuff. I'm really not digging it anymore.
You don't like the backwards check, or you don't like the collab? You don't like Travis Scott? What is it about that connection that you don't like?
I don't mind Travis. I don't mind him at all. His music is his music. Him as a person is a person. I don't know him personally. I can't really say anything about that, but I don't think there's anything that would lead me to believe he's a bad guy. I'm just not digging the amount of shoes that are coming out.
So it's a quantity thing for you.
Yeah. But that's if you're a collector and not a reseller, you don't want to be like, wow, that's great. His first shoe was fire, and then you're like, but what the hell? Because now these resellers are all over this. And
crazy.
Reselling is starting to take a bit of a hit, to be honest with you. You're starting to see a lot less, at least from what I hear, there's a lot less stuff out there, and guys are just trying to cash in on them, and the fans are getting a bit of the wiser and not.
I'm a collector of shoes, and look, once the quantity of Jordan releases started increasing significantly, that's when I got out of the game, because for the most part, I'll pick and choose a shoe. Again, I'm buying these. I don't really wear them. I wish I could bring myself to wear a lot of these Jordans. I can't, because to me it's like an art piece, and there's a bit of a time machine for them. Right? Yeah. I bought them at a time where I didn't have, I had a surplus of money, not a lot of shoes, and I started stacking as many as I could, and that's kind of how it started. But I hate the fact that they released like 200 different Jordan shoes. Like, it's just too many retros, and it just devalues them. And you saw that with kind of Yeezys too, right? You started seeing these Yeezys like, oh, there's 400,000 pairs in the world. Well, that's not very exclusive to me, right?
No, not at all. Let's get a look at these shoes.
Yeah, so let's pop the shoe up here. So these are the Air Jordan 1. It's called the KO. So I'm assuming knockout. And this is the green Ghost.
Ghost green.
Yeah. So what do you think of them? I mean, this is obviously a homage to her hair, kind of, all black with that green line or whatever, half the head.
Tongue tag's got, I guess, her logo on it or something.
Yeah, it looks like there's something there for that.
They look like they could probably be pretty comfortable.
That's a typical one, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a typical one.
They got a couple. It looks like there's a couple extra seam lines there.
Yeah,
on the side.
They're interesting. I'm not going to say that they're. I'd be surprised to see if there's any other colorways that are coming out in this shoe, but they look pretty kind of cool. I'm just trying to think. The strap on the side almost like a PSNY.
A little bit.
Yeah.
School New York. Yeah. It's got a bit of a vibe like that. I mean, I'm not. The color's nice. Not nice for me. I'm curious to know if these are going to come out in like just women's sizes or men's, or I didn't really check that out. But I wonder if this will be like a women's only kind of thing. That could actually be really cool for Nike and Jordan to kind of have her on that team like that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that a lot of people are getting smart with now is starting to market towards women. I think they're kind of a miscategory a lot with stuff. You can see video games doing it now.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
65% of mobile video game usage is by women. So I think these old heads and these big, Brazilian hardwood boardrooms are starting to realize that women are people too, and they consume. And
I mean, my mom's always playing something, one of these Bejeweled games or
exactly.
Candy Crush. I mean, she'll play that thing for hours.
I mean, if they make this a women's only release, I think there are a lot of girls that look up to her just because of her and who she is and what she stands for. So, I mean, if that's a marketing kind of tactic to go towards women with this, I mean, cool. It'll be, it'll be the same case as with every kind of release like this, though. It's just going to be a whole bunch of guys trying to buy them up and resell them for ridiculous amounts of money, which goes against the exact idea of this. Right? There was a pair of shoes. They were, I think, fly ease or something, where you could just basically put them on your feet. You didn't need to use your hands.
Hands free, yeah. So those are not released yet. But I remember seeing Jimmy Kimmel, not Jimmy Kimmel, Fallon. Kind of had a meeting with Nike, and they're like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, I had this idea for the shoe," and he had like this chopped up. I think it was like a Vans or something like that. And they're like, "Oh, let us show you something," and it was that shoe. But and he ended up getting one of the first pairs. Did they release already?
No, they released them. Okay. And I remember I saw the video of this kid was like, he was suffering from some type of disability, and he was like, these shoes were actually made for people like me, and I can't get them because people are getting them and trying to resell them for 5 times what they're actually retailing for. And I can't stand that stuff, man. For stuff like that, for accessibility stuff, like just take a seat. I hate that crap.
Yeah, I'm not down with that either.
Like, I get it, but whatever.
Okay, let's Friends, the reunion. I mean, we have it on here because it's pop culture and we want to just touch on it real quick. But, kind of initial thoughts on this. For me, not a big Friends fan, more of a Seinfeld fan. Friends had maybe a couple of moments where there were some funny parts, but realistically, it didn't hit home, and I don't think it stands the test of time like a show like Seinfeld.
No, you want to know who some real friends are? Those are real friends. End of story. Never really got into the whole Friends thing. I hear people talking about it like, oh, that's the one where this guy did that dude, and come on, no thanks. That was a real show. Seinfeld was a real show.
Stands the test of time.
Always
the better show, the better spin-off, if you will, with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just a better quintessential New York, show with people. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about this French show, so I did take a quick peek into it. I don't have HBO Max, so I can't watch it. Not that I would, even to rip it. But it kind of seems like it's, I think it's hosted by the guy who sings in those cars. Is it Corgan?
Yeah.
James Corgan?
Wait, so the reunion show wasn't like an actual
it
episode of them getting back together and doing the show again? It does not
appear that way. It's kind of like them sitting on the set, reading at the table, some of the lines, going to one of the sets, kind of reenacting a scene. Like, I don't know. Is that a reunion show or?
That's like a panel. It's like Comic-Con or something. No, get out of here.
Not digging it.
If Seinfeld comes back, I don't want a panel show. I want them to do a better final episode.
They did one on Curb, right? Where it kind of wasn't and it kind of was, but they did it in a better way for me.
Yeah.
Not going to kill Friends anymore because that's just it for me. Okay, UFC, big card this weekend. This past weekend. 2 titles were on the line. So middleweight with Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori. What did you think of that fight? We'll start there and then we'll work our way down.
Bit of a joke. I don't think the Vittori.
Do you think Vittori really stood a chance at all?
No, but he didn't really push Adesanya that much, and Stylebender did what he had to do to get the W and keep the belt. And you could tell he wasn't even taxed. Like that guy could have gone 50 rounds with that dude. So
you see him at the end, he's just kind of showboating him. He's like,
"Oh,
I'm really tired." Oh, no.
I don't know. Like when you talk about frequency, there's UFC twice a week now, and for me, I would just like to see more boxing, but. Nevertheless, they always put on a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was any moment really where Adesanya really had any issues with Vittori. I think it seemed like
it wasn't
kind of a one-sided fight for me. There was a couple moments, I think maybe when there was some kind of grappling going around where, Vittori he just, what's crazy is Vittori looked like 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me. But he just looked absolutely huge.
It's like he hit the weigh-in and then went to in and out.
Yeah. Okay. And then moving on to the flyweight, this was the co-main. So this was for the flyweight belt and Division Figueiredo.
Baby son.
And Brandon Moreno. So I'm not a huge UFC fan. I'm kind of a casual fan. I like some of the fights, but I actually came across their first fight, which was like last year. I think it was in like April or September or something like that, which was a complete bloodbath. I mean, the first fight that they had 5 rounds was unbelievable. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. And even when I was watching this fight, they mentioned that it was probably one of the top 10 fights in UFC history.
I think it's the case. Fight of the night too back then, so they got that fight of the night bonus.
I think it got fight of the night this fight too, maybe, or no, maybe that was Diaz. Maybe
I think the Diaz fight did.
Maybe it was the Diaz fight. Sorry. What did you think of this matchup?
Ask Dana White. He even said it himself. He did not expect this fight to go that way. He didn't give Moreno much of a chance on this. And
this fight was very one-sided for me.
It gets to the point where you can see in the fight game that if you get the right hold, you just slip into a grab. You can end things very quickly with the right kind of angles. And
it was a submission by rear naked choke, right?
Yeah, and I always love calling fights rear naked choke. So I love when fights get ended with the rear naked choke. Rear naked choke.
Yeah,
rear
exactly.
Naked choke. So Seinfeld to me, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's good. It's good for him. I got to see him on Instagram. They showed his kind of walk into his gym in Tijuana.
To the gym,
and,
yeah.
You could hear the mariachi in the background going crazy, and
huge for the Mexican community. This was a big win for them.
Yeah.
All the power to him. I think they're saying maybe a third fight, but he thought that it was kind of one-sided, and it probably won't be his next fight. So
yeah.
But yeah, look forward to seeing that. Okay, let's get to Diaz. I mean, if this guy, honestly, I think if there was like an 80-kilometer wind, he would probably get a cut under his eye, just from the wind hitting his face.
I'm not going to say anything about that because that man stands up and takes.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Dishes,
it's just unbelievable how quickly he gets
bleeds. Cut. He bleeds like a pig. Like this guy does not get out of the ring without blood covering his entire body. But he stands there and takes shots. Like it
adds to the fight so much. It's almost like a special effect in the fight. And even if the fight was boring, which I don't think it was, it just adds that element that something bigger happened.
No, it totally does. But I mean, if this man could just move out of the way every once in a while, a little bob and weave, like he might actually win more fights. But
too much to prove, man.
Dude's tough as nails, and I have nothing but respect for him. And his stock, I think, since the McGregor bashes that he had, he's just been growing and growing and growing, and people want to see this guy fight more and more and more. And that's great considering that his brother's always on the sideline and he's never getting another shot.
It really doesn't matter if he wins or loses. I think his value to the UFC is bigger than a loss. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People just like to see a great fight, and you're going to get that out of him.
Well, I mean, I remember I was watching it was an interview with him, and the guy was like, "So when are you thinking about hanging it up?" And he's like, "Hanging it up? I ain't never gonna quit. I don't quit. Why are you asking me that?" Like
He was also asked if his brother Nick is going to be fighting this year, which looks like they will be. He will be.
Yeah, Nick's been getting a raw deal, I think, a little bit. Kid's a good fighter. Kind of took a couple of bad losses. And the one thing about the Diaz brothers is they don't pull punches, and they always say what is on their mind. But unfortunately, sometimes with corporate America, they don't kind of like that. But that's why you love these guys, is because they don't, they say what they mean, and they don't try and sugarcoat it. They're right there with it. So yeah, I'd love to see them fight for sure.
Yeah, it'll be good, and more UFC to come. Okay, Junior, how was that Waterloo?
The Waterloo Grapefruit Radler. Excuse me. It was decent. I mean, it's pretty much what I've come to expect from Grapefruit Radlers.
Okay. This is your third one.
Yeah. I hope there's no more. Actually, I think there's one more. Grapefruit and tangerine. Anyway, it was all right.
Okay. What do we got next?
The next is the Coffin Ridge Forbidden Dry Cider Artisanal Wicked from
Let's get a look at that can.
The land of Ontario. This is kind of cool. Okay. One little apple there.
The graphics, yeah, I like that.
So this is your typical kind of apple radler, apple cider.
Okay, yeah. All right, let me switch over the deck here. All right. Initial thoughts?
Ooh.
Appley?
Holy shit. Oh, wow. Excuse me.
It's like applesauce.
Yeah.
It's sour.
Yeah.
Must be using the Granny Smith ones.
It's very dry.
Okay.
It almost tastes like carbonated wine.
Wine, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so up next we have the antitrust bill. So this is looking to disrupt, kind of like monopolizing your own monopoly.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at the end of the day, it's trying to open up the market for people to be a little more competitive. I mean, the one thing, if you notice, you go onto Amazon, go into the Google Play Store, go into any store that's run on any platform, and when you go into Amazon, all the first results is all Amazon Basics. So they're pushing all their own stuff up to the top of the filter. And if you look at that on YouTube, if all your stuff's just getting pushed to the top of the filter and the algorithm loves you, then you're going to get more hits and more views and more likes and more this and more that.
More money.
And more money. So what this bill is basically doing is introducing legislation so that you can't do that anymore. So you're not allowed to push other people's products down the chain just to promote your own products. When you especially look on a platform, whether it's the app, iTunes, or it's the Google Play Store, or it's Amazon, is that these people are paying you money to put their items on your marketplace, and you're basically putting yourself in front of the line in front of them, but still charging them to do that. So I really understand the idea of this to help these small creators, small businesses out there be on more of an even playing field. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is also to pull and separate basically their brands. So when you look at Amazon and Amazon Basics, they're basically saying you need to take your Amazon Basics and you need to pull it completely out of your store and have that run as a separate entity. So there's a lot of things that are going into this to make it a little more level playing field for everybody out there. And if in a free market economy, that has to happen. That's the one thing you can't do is monopolize everything. But unfortunately, that's where it is. They're not monopolizing. They're just jamming their own systems with their own stuff first, which is hurting the smaller retails. So
these are the richest. These are the richest companies in the world, right?
The rich get richer, right?
When you load up Amazon, you'll have the Amazon Basic stuff kind of pop up right away. So I guess in theory, what they would likely have to do is, say, shop the Amazon store.
Yeah.
Amazon's own Amazon Basics and anything else, any other products that they carry.
That I would get. Like that I could see flying. But again.
Or maybe cut out, is it a possibility that they could just cut the commission or the sales, whatever, if someone else is selling on their platform and still push their stuff to the top?
But it still makes no difference. because if you've got an Amazon Basics going for $10.99 and then this small retailer has his going for $29.99, where are you going to go?
Going to make it happen.
No,
Yeah.
you have to remember Amazon's buying in bulk. They're getting discounted units far exceeding what these people are able to even compete with.
Definitely.
So I mean that's a hindrance. It's basically saying come just fill up my store, like the pages in my warehouse, and allow me to continue to sell all my stuff. Now, it doesn't happen with everything. I mean, they don't have an Amazon Basics for everything within their platform.
Yeah.
But the most important areas is where they have their stuff.
T-shirts,
they got
a lot of
the
that
stuff that gets ordered the most, right?
Yeah. So the judge laid the gavel down then, eh?
Not yet. So it's still
on its way through.
It's on its way through.
We'll see if those wheels get greased and if this actually gets if this deal gets done.
Unless Bezos can promise people a flight to space with him on his new rocket. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe he just offers everybody Prime and
that too.
Worldwide free Prime. Okay, let's move on to Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. Euro Cup 2020 is in full effect. If you haven't already, please go back, check out our group breakdown. We go group A through F, and break down some of the teams and where we expect them to land within their grouping and essentially who goes on. So go check those out in our other videos. They played today. They played Hungary today, and they were able to beat Hungary 3-0. And Ronaldo had 2 goals in that game, which put him in as the sole leader for the most goals for any player in Euro Cup history. Thoughts? Huge.
He's almost the leading scorer of his country, and I know that's probably one of his focuses coming into Euro. It's great. He's still considered one of the top footballers in the world, so he's still on this stage. But I'll say this: that game was not without drama. Portugal, I will have to say that score line did not dictate how that game was.
Should have been 6-0.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, he missed a couple of easy ones, a couple of bad passes right in front. Not just Ronaldo, but just in Portugal in general. I thought there was easily 2 goals in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, to Hungary's defense on that, they played out of their minds. Hungary had a very strong game. They held them scoreless and in check for like 8/10 of the game.
Easily, yeah.
Then you get a bad bounce here, a bad bounce there, and the next thing you know, 90th plus, it's 3-0, including a PK.
Yeah.
But Hungary played well, so I'm not going to take that away from them. I think the 3-0
looked good on the counter.
Yeah. The 3-0 scoreline in terms of how that game was played for 80 minutes, not indicative of how that game was played.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. And I'm not really suggesting that it would be 6-0 if Portugal would have scored earlier. That would have dictated a lot of gameplay changes throughout the rest of the game, right? But
Hungary Hungary did score just to tick offside.
Yeah,
but
the other thing is Ronaldo is actually 3 goals away from breaking the record for most international goals all time
for Portugal, or
I don't know. I saw that. I'm thinking it's international goals for Portugal. Is it possible that could be for all players across?
I think it's for Portugal. I don't know if he's.
The other thing I want to mention while you're just fact checking that, and I thank you for that. 2 things. So Germany and France are also in the same grouping with Portugal and Hungary. Interesting note here. Ronaldo has never scored an international goal against Germany or France. Furthermore, if they make it out of the group stage and onto the last 16 stage and end up playing England, which is a possibility, he's never scored against England either.
So, this is actually...
Is that international goals as a player, period?
All time, worldwide.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. He could make that happen in this tournament because this is likely his last.
He's at 103, and he is 6 goals behind Ali Day of Iran.
Wow, that's crazy, right?
And Ali Day did that on 149 caps, where Ronaldo's at 173 caps. So So maybe Ali Dai was a little more of a prolific goal scorer than Cristiano Ronaldo was, but that was quite a while ago. So,
he also became the first player to ever score at 5 European championships, going all the way back to, I think, 2004.
It's 20 years.
Wow. It's crazy, right?
20.
Okay. The part that I want to talk about, though, and I don't think maybe a lot of people picked up on this or have seen this, but did you see him at the presser afterwards?
When he pushed the Coke away?
Pushed the Coke away. So there was 2 bottles, 2 glass bottles, because in Europe it's mostly glass. They don't use a ton of plastic over there. So 2.
It's because they don't throw it at people. That's why.
So 2, 330 mils or whatever glass Coke bottles were pushed aside in favor of water, and he said only water. So he made sure to push them out of the camera's viewpoint.
Let me tell you
Did you see what happened with the Coca-Cola stock?
It went down?
It went down $4 billion drop.
Oh, shit, I own Coke stock. Damn you, Ronaldo.
$4 billion by moving 2 Coca-Colas out of the camera's view.
Oh,
I'm not sure what it ended up at or what happened or kind of in between there. But that's the essence of the story. $4 billion.
Oh, it's still at $55. It's fine.
It probably dropped, came back up. Who knows? But
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day. After he did that, it went down to 55 and a quarter, and it's back up to 55.41. I think the one thing that is a message from Ronaldo to young kids, and water is very important, which it is.
70% water in the body.
And the one thing that I will tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo is that this man is to the utmost a humanitarian. This man will do things without being asked once or twice. He goes out of his way to help people, and he will never stop doing that. Yes, he lives a lavish lifestyle, but he gives away a lot. Not just money, but his time. There was a story about a hospital that wanted to raffle off a pair of his shoes and asked him for a pair to help a kid. So what he did is he said, how much is the surgery? He paid for the surgery, still gave them a pair of shoes and autographed them and told them to raffle it off and keep all the money for the hospital. This man he's an amazing human being. And, regardless of what people want to say about him being a soccer player, that's his profession. And he still loves doing it. As you can see, he's been playing in Euro for God knows how long now, and World Cups and international and club matches. And, he's had a very long career because, one, he does take care of himself. As you can see, at his age, he's still ripped.
He's not drinking Coca-Cola, that's for sure.
No, he's not. So kids, Coca-Cola is nice when you get older, when you're done growing, and it's not too much of an effect to you, but it's very high sugar, and sugar's a killer. So, drink water. If you want to, you turn 19 in your respective country and you want to put some rum in the Coke and a little bit of lime and some ice cubes, go right ahead. But until then, just keep your water intake high.
Yeah, as high as possible. 70% water. Stay hydrated, people.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's an absolute beast. Okay.
Yes.
Let's put a cap in that. We talked about it last week with Garrett Cole from the Yankees. We're going to talk about it this week because there has been the implementation of a new rule in baseball. Why don't you break it down for us as our baseball aficionado?
Yes. So, pitchers, you get caught with anything, going to your belt, going to the underlid of your hat, going to the back of your neck, behind your ear, wherever you would normally hide stuff. If they see you doing that, they're gonna question it, and the umps have full power to walk up and take a look. And if they find foreign substances on you, no matter what it is, spider tack, Vaseline, sunscreen, whatever you want to call it, it's 10 games. It's 10 games.
That's huge.
Not really. This is where MLB dropped the ball.
Really?
How many times is a pitcher going to come to the mound in a 10-game span? 2 starts? That's it.
I guess when you put it into that perspective, that isn't very much. Yes.
Not enough.
You're right.
Enough.
You're right.
If you said
is there like a compounded penalty, first time, second offender?
That I didn't get into, but
okay.
I think what they're trying to do is just crack down on this stuff. But I mean, when you look at the NHL, when they suspend a guy in the playoffs for 4 games, that's really like 8, 10 regular season games.
Yeah.
So when you suspend a guy in baseball for 10 games, he's only going to be up in 2 of them anyway. 3 of them at most if it's a bad pitching staff. So
yeah,
there's really not much for them to lose. What are they going to sit two extra days in the next 10? I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to get it right, get it right. Don't come out with like a limp proposal in terms of what you're trying to do. Just come out, drop the hammer.
Do you think this was just to say, hey, we're on it, we're doing something about it? It was said, yeah, it was our. Really, at the end of the day, is all rules aside, and the fact that this is not the right thing for baseball, is it bad for baseball to see these guys striking out, having these no hitters, or is it better is that a bad storyline, or is the better storyline home runs, home runs, home runs?
Even playing field. That's the story.
Is that what sells though? Right? Like steroid race, all this stuff. You go back to the home run race and all that jazz. I mean, these guys hitting dingers, that's what gets people excited. That's what makes front page news.
There's one thing that baseball will protect, and that's the sanctity of its game, the purity of its game.
Okay.
And that's one thing that they will defend until the end of days. They did that with Shoeless Joe, that poor man who will never see the inside of the Hall of Fame because he's long gone now. Deservedly to be in there, but not, because they were trying to protect the sanctity and the purity of this game. They've made a lot of mistakes, baseball has. A lot. When you talk about them trying to rectify the issues with the Negro Leagues that they did, where they're starting to put these guys into the Hall of Fame when they were barring them earlier, is a good first step. But when you're talking about your game today, the lack of follow-up that they did with the steroids. So basically, yeah, we're going to make this stuff illegal to use, illegal substances in baseball. And then you don't start testing for 10 years after guys have just been hammering this stuff into them. So, everything comes in revolutions, right? So there was the steroid, the guys got bigger and everything. But the one thing steroids don't do is they don't increase this.
Like hand-eye coordination.
It doesn't increase hand-eye. If you've got bad hand-eye, don't matter how big you are, you ain't going to hit it. So
it has to give you a leg up, though, if you're someone who can hit the long ball in terms of getting on base by getting walked.
But this sticky stuff is the manipulation of the main vehicle of the game of baseball, which is the baseball.
It changes everything from that exit point.
Everything. So you're talking about your velocity. You're talking about spin rate. And when you're increasing, decreasing, and all of that stuff, you are manipulating the game itself.
Yeah.
This is worse than steroids. Okay? Because again, hand-eye coordination, that's the biggest part of baseball. If you can't hit a ball and you don't have good hand-eye, you don't play baseball because it's not the game for you. But when you've got the ability to use something that gives you a better grip on the baseball, that's going to allow you to put a higher spin rate and have far more movement on the ball, that's cheating. I don't care what you want to call it. That is straight up cheating. Because
it could also let you have, as a starter, it could let you have a little bit go deeper in the innings too, because you have to throw less pitches because they're working easier for you, right?
Exactly. So I'm down for baseball doing something about this, but doing it properly. And this was a big miss for me. Big miss.
It's possible they could always change the rule if they find there's repeat offenders and so on. I'll be interested to see who actually gets caught with this the first time around.
Oh, someone's going to get caught super quick.
All right, let's put a pin in that. Let's go to Jokic.
Jokic.
Sorry for the pronunciation. Jokic. And the MVP getting kicked out, flagrant 2'd for his foul on Cameron Payne. So, yes, it was a foul. Is this how you're going to respond to the MVP? It was a frustrating game for the Nuggets. It wasn't easy for them. They were down 3-0 to the Suns, and they were getting beat pretty handily in this game. They weren't competitive.
Let's be honest. The refs were not on the side of the Nuggets the entire series.
No, sure.
But the simple question you can ask yourself here is, if LeBron did that, would have LeBron got a flagrant 2 and tossed out of the game?
Let them play. It was a bit soft. He caught him a little bit with, I would say, his forearm on the cheek, but that was not enough. Intention.
Not enough.
It wasn't his intention. His intention was a hard foul, but he got
Cameron
most
Payne,
of it.
Cameron Payne acted like a LeBron and completely dove and sold it. I think that's a horrible call, and that ruined that game big time because Denver was coming back a bit. They had a bit of mojo going, and I think he was just trying to, just play a little harder because this man's been carrying that team the entire series at that point. And to toss a guy out who when was the last time he had a flagrant 2? 300 something games ago. Like this guy is not a repeat offender. If Draymond did that, Draymond wouldn't even gotten tossed with a flagrant 2. Like that was a joke. And then the way Booker stepped up, like, sorry, bud.
You don't want to get into it.
Kendall Jenner, you're really going to step up to the guy like that? Josh says that league is soft. I say that Book is soft. Step down, little man.
He's a hell of a player. I'm not going to take anything from a Book. I'm riding the Suns big time right now. Really like what they're doing. Point guard Chris Paul. I mean, I love what they're doing. I love the basketball they're playing right now. But a flagrant 2 was too much. It was too harsh. It was the wrong time. That wasn't the time to do that. And it leaves a little bit of a stain and a bad taste in my mouth for Jokic and the MVP. It's just not the way to go out. And I'm sure he didn't like going out like that. And it was just the wrong thing to happen. So
yeah.
Suns end up sweeping that series. So they're waiting on the winner of Jazz.
Clips.
Yeah, Jazz Clips. Just on that, did you see that Kawhi dunk last night?
I did. It's something we here in Toronto are very, very used to.
That was a monster jam by Kawhi. This guy is a problem, man.
Quite dirty. The momentum is definitely shifting to the Clippers side.
Kyrie, real quick.
Yeah. Funny enough how you stomp on Lucky and then Lucky stomps on you because that was not a lucky play for that little bit of a twisted ankle. He's out tonight, I think. Harden might be back in.
Harden is playing apparently, yes.
But nonetheless, they're down by 16 right now. So I think Milwaukee's got a bit of a beast mode going right now.
Yeah, personally, still got that hamstring issue, right?
Yeah. So personally, I bet Milwaukee tonight because just what I saw they did last game. I think they're going to start pushing a bit more on Brooklyn. And to be honest with you, if they beat Brooklyn, this is all wide open. Completely wide open.
Harden's got no points at the half. And Kevin Durant's got 18 with the second leading scorer, Jeff Green, at 15. So this game is in the bag for sure. You're going to see a big momentum shift here. And I think I had the Bucks in this series. So we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, J. Rue's got 10. Chris Middleton's got 14, 3 and 4. Brooks Lopez, 5 and 4. PJ Tucker, his usual stat line of 0 points, 1 rebound, and 2 steals.
But he's got a hell of a shoe collection.
He does, and he's been shutting Durant down, too.
Yeah. So interesting to see what happens if the Bucks close this out. It'll be 3-2, I think, back in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that one. NBA playoffs, we're loving it. We're just absolutely loving it. We wanted to talk quickly. Father's Day is coming up this weekend, so we wanted to do a barbecue feature. So Junior's got the stats on the barbecue. So Junior, what's going on in the barbecue world right now? What's hot, what's not?
So everyone's talking about grilling vegetables and grilling fruit and brioche buns and that's what everyone's talking about in the barbecue world. But what they're not talking about is what are you going to do with the backyard?
Boom. How about that?
Bang. Barbecue shack. Outdoor kitchen style. Everything there. Little bit of a roof over top, pergola style. All your spices set up. Man. Just heaven. Just think about that little butcher block where you're pulling apart your pulled pork or you're slapping your ribs down or you're cutting your brisket. Wonderful idea. I'm thinking about enacting this plan and getting this into my backyard. So we'll see how that goes, or if that's going to happen on Father's Day. But absolutely love this idea.
Okay.
Because we talk about what to barbecue, but we're not talking about how good we're looking while we barbecue.
Yes.
No need for the Air Monarchs. Keep the OG Jordan 1 highs on and just get into your shack and look like you're
rocking.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Looking
loving this
great.
idea. I'm more of that like toy guy. You know, I want some toys. What's the new toy? What's the new thing? It's not, you know, wireless thermometers or anything like that. But what about a pizza oven?
I know a friend of mine built one last year out of like a stone, like brick
That's
oven.
crazy.
It was he built it himself. Like he's cutting stones and built this thing. It's pretty epic.
So this right here, this is the Unicoda 12. It's
love it.
Gas powered, so natural gas, or I think there is a hookup for propane.
Okay.
This is a $469 unit right off their website.
It's not bad.
It's really not bad. You're literally cooking a pizza in 60 seconds. You're not getting the taste of the wood, but that's a fresh made pie in 60 seconds, which is pretty amazing.
So is this going to be like? Is this going to be what kind of style of pie are you going to get in 60 seconds? And it's going to be like one of these fancy pizzas, right?
No, it's going to be basically you pull it out of a pizza oven, like, you know, Pizza Hut. Like they just slam it in, slam it out, right? But me, if I'm going to put a pizza oven in the back, I want to crank it up a little bit. This is the EXO charcoal. So this is charcoal-fired pizza. This little unit here is $17.99 directly off of their website. Wow. Now, if you haven't cooked with charcoal because it takes too long to light it, or it's a hassle, or your food tastes so much better.
It's a different story. That's where the flavor profile really comes into play.
So it takes a bit of time to heat it up, but once it gets going, you're still looking at a minute and a half, and you're getting more of that wood fire feel. So that bubbly crust, the little bit of char and the burnt end part of the crust, and you're getting more of an artisanal pizza. So if I got the ability to walk in the backyard, fire this puppy up, and within 10 minutes, I got 4 or 5 pizzas laid across the entire table, and everyone's got their drinks, and, you know, just a beautiful night, and 5 to 6 different pizzas, and everyone's just chowing. You know, that's what I'm looking at. Upgrade the barbecue, upgrade pizza oven, upgrade shack, and then figure out what you're going to cook. Get the toys and then get the cooking.
Love it. I will say one thing for those who want to do more than pizza, but still want that pizza and still want that charcoal. If you haven't seen them, one of these keg style type of charcoal barbecues in the form of Big Green Egg, or I think Premier or Primo or something does another one that's like that. Yeah. These you can slow cook all those meats that you're looking for. You can still do the pizza. You got to buy, you know, the attachment or whatever, the pizza stone or whatever that drops inside. But it gives you a lot of versatility. And those Big Green Eggs, they go for like $900.
Yeah. But I mean, even if you look at that, the Unicoda 12, I mean, it's not a massive unit, but you put a little plate down in there and you can drop your vegetables in there.
Oh, yeah.
You want to quick char your vegetables? If they're doing the pizza in 60 seconds, you're going to get all your peppers and stuff done in 60 seconds too. So
absolutely.
You know, you can always, you got to figure out how to use these things. You know, trick them out a little bit.
I think, I was looking for one of the eggs, and it might still be on my list. I use a gas propane grill now, and I think there's a benefit of having both.
I only go charcoal
quick, but I definitely like the flavor profile that you get out of the charcoal. So I'll stay tuned for that one. All right, awesome. Let's get the results of the beer bracket here, Junior.
Still got a little bit more to go.
Okay, yeah, go for it, man.
Funny enough, there's a bit more alcohol content to that one.
Yeah, we say 6?
6.5.
Yeah, that's probably why it tastes like it has more of that wine feel.
This is your winner right here.
Really? I'm surprised. Wow. The upset.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this a bit more.
Wow.
Again, just my taste buds, the flavor that I took on a bit more. I just found that this is cleaner finish. And obviously the grapefruit wasn't too forward, but I just think that if you're looking for something that's like appley, winey, then definitely hit this. It's still good, but I found the flavor profile was a bit better with the Waterloo, so I'm gonna hit Waterloo on the upset.
Awesome. All right, well, that's a wrap for us then on the cast, episode 6.
Woo.
6, yeah, I think it's 6.
Yeah.
Wow, so we keep rolling here. So yeah, join us next Tuesday at 9:00. We'll be live again with episode 7 and the news stories from the week or week coming up. The easiest way to help grow our channel, if you can, it's very, very easy. Just hit that like button. That helps to grow our channel. It helps to, trick the algorithm, and it helps get our videos out to more people. If you want to comment below, let us know what you thought about some of these topics that we touched on today, your thoughts, feelings, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whatever the case is, or maybe you have a topic that you want us to continue next time. We're happy to do that as well. If you want to subscribe to the channel,
please do so.
It's the best thing to do, right, Junior?
Yeah.
We really appreciate it, and we'd love to have you a part of our channel. So please consider subscribing to our channel. We try to do as much content as possible and cover as many areas as possible. So if you have an area, put that into the comments as well. Yeah. We are on a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We are in for the long haul, and we want to continue to grow this channel to suit your needs as well. So that's it, Junior. That's it for us. I want to thank you guys again for joining. Your time and attention is very much appreciated for everybody here at Offside and Out of Bounds. And the cast, I am Adam.
I'm Junior.
See ya real soon.